Hello, you Awakening Wonders. Thanks for joining me today for Stay Free with Russell Brand. Thank you, Tim Pool and Tim Cast, for the raid. Thank you, Crowder and Mug Club. And you glorious overspill from Bongino's Army. Thanks for joining us. Wherever you're watching, X or YouTube, make your way to Rumble. That's our home and indeed the home of free speech itself. And if you don't have Rumble Premium yet, get Rumble Premium now so you can get additional content from us, an additional hour each week, as well as an ad-free experience as smooth and as lubricated as one of Keir Starmer's cabinet when they're hanging around a lollipop van. Oh yeah, baby. Them are some smooth and lubricated politicians running the UK right now. You only need to look at the news to see that the prison planet penitentiary that is the UK is a theme park, and the theme is absolute control. Today we're going to be covering some of the great stories from the week. Callie Means on the front line talking about RFK at Politico as the mainstream media tries to impose old school ideas on new emerging Maha-oriented health edicts. We're going to be talking too about war, whether or not we have been delivered to in the manner promised during the campaign by the MAGA Maha Trump movement. We're also going to be talking about a whole variety of stuff. Sam Harris talks about Elon Musk. We're talking about that. And another day, another tariff. Oh my God, I'm still. How many more tariffs?
Noah! Larry, what the hell are you doing?
Larry!
Larry, you can't just... Oh,
Larry! Oh, are you all right? How did
Larry!
Wherever you're watching us, X, YouTube, make your way over to Rumble, get Rumble Premium, or we will tariff you so high. In fact, Rumble Premium amounts to a tariff. I'm joined today by our team here, Jake and Isaac, over there with their very distinct faiths, contributing marginally more than the ape depicted on the wall behind him. Also, we have our social media manager, Luke, who's a man of great faith. Look at him. Look at his ways he's arranged his environment. Isn't he lovely? And Massey there, probably a bit too close to his camera. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at this. The tariffs. I mean, have we frozen tariffs now? Are tariffs at the same level? I don't know.
China. We need independence.
Yep. And what's your message to? Have you seen Donald Trump? Do you think he should step in?
Donald Trump don't trust China. China is asshole.
That's some good stuff. That's got to be in Hong Kong, right? I love that reporter. That dude, he works at like Rebel News, don't he? You watched him trouble people at Davos. He ain't playing. That dude, he's Australian. He ain't scared. He gets right up in people's faces. Okay, let's have a look at Trump's fans trolling leftists wearing Make America Gay Again hat. And actually, you know, people be gay. Make America gay. I
like your MAGA hat. Yeah, Trump. Woo!
It says gay.
Oh, I know.
Just checking.
Trump fan.
Never know.
Trump?
No. It says make America gay again.
Great again.
Gay.
I know, but we love Trump, right?
There you go. The culture war continues. Kill them. I got the mic in my logo, baby. Mute the mics, Isaac, until needed. Thank you, darling. Although I'm glad that people are laughing. Okay, let's have a look what's going on. I need more information on this number 4.
So we are. So we tell them. So we tell them. We are the union.
We are the union.
All right.
We can't really get behind that, can you? Federal employees are showing up not to work but to protest returning to work.
It even goes further than that, Maria. Things as outrageous as trying to get workers back into the office. We actually had workers that showed up at the office to protest having to come back to work at the office. So we're finding all kinds of things with the
I only came here to get directions for how to get away from here.
With the Doge work, the squeal work that I have done for 10 years. And thank heavens we have President Trump and Doge, the Office of Government Efficiency, that's finally cracking down on these types of activities.
The United Kingdom has become a theme park, and the theme of that park is absolute control. There's nothing they won't leverage to deploy more mechanics of control. Now they want digital IDs, they want centralized currencies, they want you to stay in your home. All the while, there's some extraordinary private lives going on inside Westminster. As you know, one of Keir Starmer's close friends, has been arrested on suspicion of paedophilia. Innocent until proven guilty. Sometimes I think that's a phrase that needs to be brought to the very forefront of everyone's mind. But right now, UK facial recognition is being rolled out in the British town Welsh, particularly of Cardiff. Let's have a look at that.
We got to train at Cardiff Central and we saw police putting up signs to warn people live facial recognition is going up all around Cardiff city centre today. Live facial recognition is usually deployed on the back of vans, scanning people walking down the street. But this time, South Wales Police have put it on the top of loads of lampposts, cameras all around the city centre, meaning that everyone in Cardiff city centre today is going to get scanned by these cameras and their face checked against the watch list. Part of the facial recognition, or just hanging around?
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah, is it working?
Yeah.
Any arrests? No trouble at all. Seems quite calm. That's great.
It's always very good. Very elegant.
Now, let me know in the comments and chat if you are pleased, excited, or disappointed and concerned since Trump took office. Is this the government you voted for when it comes to subjects as important as global peace, brokering for war, whether it comes to the reckoning that ought to be faced by the pharmaceutical industry, big food and big agriculture? I would argue that in that area, at least, there is progress, all because of the list of names that I mentioned continually on the show. Bobby Kennedy, Dr. Oz, Callie Means is among them, Aaron, Siri, and of course Jay Bhattacharya and Marty Makari, all who have high-profile jobs one way or another, or significant influence within the aspect of American life that's so important. Health, both psychological and spiritual, based on nutritional, good food practices and not taking medicine that could fundamentally, well, kill you. This is a conversation that took place at a Politico event. Politico, as you know, used to be funded by the same groups that fund Wall Street Journal. And I don't know how much Politico is still in the Hocker legacy media, but certainly Callie Means gets a lot of pushback when he advocates for Bobby Kennedy's new mandate within the HHS. Let's have a deep dive into that. We'll be back in a minute and we'll be talking about all manner of things, including trans sports. John Oliver advocates for more, sort of trans sports folks. We'll be analysing that. Let me know what you think, by the way, in the comments and chat on the very day that there was a pool tournament in the UK, my beloved country, now a penitentiary island where people are jailed for social media posts, unless, of course, they're government paedophiles, then they seem to get extraordinary largesse. What's going on lately there is that there's a female pool tournament where both the finalists were trans men. Let me know in the comments and chat what you think about that. Also, like pool, like it ain't strength or speed oriented. There's no advantage actually to testosterone there. Anyway, we'll work it all out. Let's have a look at Callie Means at this Politico event. It's really good because Callie Means is one of the people that helped me to understand that we're essentially fed en masse a bunch of foods that are essentially toxic and poisonous. Seed oils, high fructose, sucrose, terrible dyes, all that stuff that we're familiar with now thanks to the Maha movement. And let's not forget for a moment that Bobby Kennedy was more outspoken than anyone when it came to talking about the pandemic, when it came to talking about Anthony Fauci, when it came to talk about bioweapons, lab leaks, deep state involvement, and the control of a global population that took place in that pandemic period. Here, Callie Means advocates for him quite brilliantly. You are going to love this. Let's have a look.
No, here's the fucking news.
Oh no! Breakfast cereal is poisonous! Oh no! People that make food and medicine benefit from us being ill. That actually makes sense economically. If you make medicine, you want people sick. Huh. Callie Means has long been a friend of our show, and he's one of the reasons that I believe that the HHS will improve significantly under Bobby Kennedy. Callie Means is a former employee of Coca-Cola turned whistleblower and now expert in nutrition, but not only what we should eat and what we shouldn't eat, what we should put in our mouths and what we shouldn't put in our mouths, but what we should allow into our consciousness. Here is Callie Means appearing at a Politico conference. Remember that Politico is funded in all sorts of interesting and extraordinary ways, where he's given the opportunity to oppose some people that query not only his perspectives, but the Maha movement more generally. And I suppose if I was to define the Maha movement, it's if MAGA is Donald Trump and the kind of libertarian, free market, America first kind of no-nonsense robustness that Trump represents, then Maha is Bobby Kennedy, health, wellness, anti-corruption, trying to awaken and enlighten yourself and others. That's why I was so excited personally about MAGA and Maha coming together. Here in this clip, Callie Means defends the Maha movement from many of its detractors. Let's watch it together.
What the voters are trying to say, and I think they were right, is that the system is really on the wrong track. That the existing health authorities, just demonstrably, the NIH oversaw, and this is just consensus at this point, the literal creation of a pandemic.
Don't that excite you to see that getting said publicly by an employee of the HHS and therefore of your American government, that the pandemic was literally a creation? Doesn't that seem like a massive evolution? Doesn't that seem significant to you? A significant change in the public discourse from the kind of sort of dumb and infantilized, save a life, wash your hands, wear a mask. Now it's people that are significant and influential in government saying it was a creation. And in fact, I can't think of anyone more peripheral and radical when it comes to that issue than Bobby Kennedy. These people now are in a genuine position of power. So whatever the MAGA Trump administration isn't at the moment, it's certainly a massive advance on the kind of inoculated and ridiculous materialism and imperialism that preceded it.
The NIH, whose goal is to promote American health, has overseen a devastation, just an abject devastation in American health over the past 20 years, with disease rates skyrocketing in America, leading the world of almost every single chronic disease, with rates of nearly every single chronic disease being at an all-time high among kids. There's been very little innovation with small pharma, with innovative therapeutics at the FDA. It costs $1 billion to get through the process. CMS is an agency that's much larger budget than Defense Department, that's controlled by the American Medical Association, which is a pharmaceutical lobbying group and is almost predominantly sick care. So there's real problems. And when you turn on CNBC, it's just a nonstop. It's a nonstop infomercial for pharma. It's a Sky Rizzi commercial followed by Scott Gottlieb saying how Bobby's killing people, followed by a breathless coverage of the measles outbreak and no mention of the mental health crisis.
How does cutting a bunch of HHS solve that problem?
It is insane. It is insane for you to insinuate that the thing standing between us and better health is more government bureaucrats. Like
That's not what I'm insinuating.
That is what everyone's saying. It is absolutely insane to insinuate that it's some crime.
It's not all bureaucrats. It's a lot of scientists. It's researchers. It's people who are making sure that
those scientists fundamentally have overseen, just demonstrably, a record of utter failure.
Well, and that is a kind of science that you can follow, isn't it? What are the results of their scientific endeavour? What clinical trials were the NIH funding? What clinical trials were they not? Here's a couple of examples. What kind of vaccine trials were undertaken? Why is it that only now, under Bobby Kennedy, there are going to be clinical trials, significant clinical trials, into any connection between childhood autism and the childhood vaccine schedule? It doesn't hurt to ask those questions. Remember, if you have a principled belief in a scientific theory, then the way to demonstrate it is through clinical trial, through empiricism. Then it's no longer a theory, it's cast iron facts. Now let's look at the facts of the pandemic era, which has brought about to some degree this new political era. We were misled by the media. Why would they do that? Is it connected to their commercial relationships? Is it to do with their ownership models? Is it to do with the kind of convergence of interests that George Carlin articulately described? That the government, global bureaucracies and global corporate entities have the same general agenda.
You don't need a formal conspiracy when interests converge. These people went to the same universities and fraternities. They're on the same boards of directors. They're in the same country clubs. They have like interests. They don't need to call a meeting. They know what's good for them.
I.e., populations that are docile, malleable, despondent and controllable, looking to resolve emotional and spiritual problems through commercial means, certainly not vibrant, vital and opposed to hypocrisy and corruption, willing to take control of their own lives and their own communities, to kill and die for what they believe in, kill only when absolutely necessary, obviously, but to die for what you believe in. That's not the kind of population that the system benefits from, and it's not the kind of perspective they've created through their culture. What we have now is the opportunity to take back the control and reins of our own lives, individually, collectively, internationally, and indeed globally, by embracing a spiritual power that's accessible and available to all of us, that I have found through Christ Jesus, and as far as I know, that's the only way. You might have different ways of accessing it. It's interesting to me that many of the people involved in this movement are also Christian. Let me know what you think about that in the comments and the chat. But when it comes to the subject of science, we can see the success of previous administrations by measuring the facts. And it seems that when it comes to food, when it comes to drugs, when it comes to agriculture, culture, they were not basing their behavior, practice, and regulations on what's best for American people, but what's best for sets of corporate, commercial, and essentially global interests. Difficult to argue with that when you look at the record. Do you agree?
It would be insane. Is that funny? Not true. Is that not true? I'd love to hear how, so what metrics would you guys point to for how the scientific community, how the 4 times more per capita on healthcare spending that we spend in America versus other countries has produced innovation?
Well, this is good. I like seeing Callie Means in this mode. Callie Means in battle mode.
Has there been one single chronic disease medication in modern American history that has lowered rates of the chronic disease? It is appropriate that the American Academy of Pediatrics right now, which is 90% funded by pharma.
That's the wrong shot to go to, by the way, that jib shot, just sort of looming. Get close on Callie. Get the cutaway of the guy in the crowd.
Is pushing Ozempic on 6-year-olds.
But so, Callie,
that is what the medical authorities are doing.
Why not then use the power that you guys have to push the existing infrastructure in that direction instead of slashing it altogether?
It's not slashing. It's taking it back to 2017 levels. That's not slashing. The amount of bureaucrats.
More like 2002 levels, actually.
In many cases, it's actually just not that much. But it is cutting. What is it? 20,000 people. It's taking it back to, it's taking the HHS back to 68,000 employees. It is absolutely like the idea that Bobby Kennedy should not come in and make dramatic changes to the leadership and the personnel at these authorities that have overseen an abject devastation of American health, which the lobbyists in this room do not have the humility to admit that we have gone completely wrong. The lobbyists in this room laughing when we have the sickest children in the developed world. If you guys, if that is your attitude, and your attitude is to tell the Maha moms that their votes and their voice is not legitimate, that we need dramatic changes to American healthcare, if you think it is illegitimate for Bobby Kennedy to not make big changes to people like Peter Marks, who once again and again went against FDA advisory opinions, who fired the 2 top vaccine makers, the 2 top vaccine scientists at the FDA for suggesting that we shouldn't mandate COVID shots for soldiers.
Now, in 2025, do you believe that they should have mandated COVID shots for soldiers, for nurses, looking at the rise of heart disease and turbo cancers and a variety of other conditions? Do you think it should be mandated now that you know what you know about who it is that's likely to suffer or even die as a result of the coronavirus? Do you believe it should be mandated? And wasn't there indeed then a significant requirement for radical change, the kind of radical changes that Bobby Kennedy appears to be bringing about within the HHS? Would you agree?
Who continually went against expert opinion in favor of the pharmaceutical industry, who many people here were collaborating with him with. The fact that somebody like that can't be fired and he can't install tremendous people like Marty McCary and Jay Bhattacharya and Dr. Oz to start reforming these agencies and put in their people, of course he should do that. That's what people voted for.
There you go, democracy in action. As I've told you before, I know Marty McCary, Jay Bhattacharya, Dr. Oz, and I would say that to varying degrees, all of those people I either know well personally or have studied their work and what they talk about publicly. We couldn't be in a better position, when I say we, I mean the people of America, than with those people in charge of our health, certainly under Bobby Kennedy. When you look at what preceded it and the fact that Anthony Fauci's still out there peddling treachery and looking at ways that he can, through his public life, advance the interests of the pharmaceutical industry and continue to ensure that people are spiritually sick and operating on a low frequency. We are in a much better and improved situation with Bobby Kennedy, Dr. Oz, Jay Bhattacharya, Callie Means himself, and Marty McCary in positions of power. These are principled men who are telling you exactly what they believe, and now what they believe will be clinically tested through scientific trials before enacted as policy. That seems to me to be a radical upgrade on what preceded it. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments and the chat.
No, here's the fucking news.
We can't make this content without the support of our partners. Here's a quick message from one now. 1775, delicious coffee. This is new longevity coffee. The benefits of coffee, the buzz, the fun, the loose stools. And now you live for sweet lady eternity. Why not? Rumble just launched the first anti-aging coffee. And no, it's not brewed in Fauci's lab. That stinking stuff. Stop using gain of function. What if a virus was created that made your dick fall off? Let's invent one and then a vaccine for it. No, just stop doing it. Stop doing that stuff. This will make you younger without the side effects of, Wuhan. This is not made in Wuhan. Clan, yes. Lab, no. A 1775 dropped 1,000 longevity bundles. Most of them were sold in seconds after freedom-loving folk like you rushed in. It was like it was the toilet paper of 2020. Remember those days, kids? They extended for sale and have added a few more. Now it's the final push. I don't like having final push so close to the word of toilet paper, innit? 'Cause you start thinking like, the lip curler. Once it's gone, it's gone. Like your trust in the FDA before the great Marty McCarry took the reins. For $99, you're getting $250 in value. And essentially, you're stealing $51? I'm not good at maths. 2 bags of longevity coffee infused with CA-AKG to support cellular health and reduce biological age. Yes, they're selling biological age tests soon, so you can prove to your mates you're biologically younger than your vegan cousin Chad. To hell with you, Chad. Plus, an ultra-rare peaberry roast. Dopey, just grow up. That makes up less than 5% of global crops. Kind of like honest politicians. We've only got Bobby. It's all single origin, small farm, small batch, and scores over 85. No bitter burnout, no sugary sludge, no mystery flavours cooked up in a corporate lab. Just clean, bold coffee that actually tastes like coffee and makes you younger. Take that, Chuck Norris. Every dollar you spend gets you 1 entry to win the old Cybertruck list. We're still pushing that thing. And $30,000 of cash. That's 99 entries locked in. With less than a month left, this bundle guarantees you a real shot. Head to 1775coffee.com/brand. Grab yours before the last bundle's gone. Fuel up, live long, and start your morning with coffee that stands for something. Go to 1775coffee.com/brand. Let's live forever, baby. Okay, wherever you're watching this, X or YouTube, ultimately, we want you to join us on Rumble. Thanks for the raid, Tim Pool. Thank you, Mug Club. Thank you, Bongino Army, Bongino Army, Bongino Army. We're leaving you, YouTube. We can't stay there for another second, not while you continue to bow down and kowtow to globalist agendas and decrees, particularly when it comes to attacking some poor old adorable fool just like me. Remonetize the content. I don't even keep this stuff. I've got a minimum guarantee. No, you don't need to know about my financial affairs. All you can know is I can afford this shit. I can afford it. That's all you need to know about me. Okay, we'll be back in a matter of seconds. In fact, we're going to continue right now with some input and insights from the team. Now, I don't know if